Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. To the scattered elect across the four corners of the earth, and those among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations pursuant to Jeremiah 12:9, known as the speckled birds. I am disciple Parium, a follower of Great Millstone, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity. Now, first, I'm going to title this lesson is going to be called Make a Note. It's part of my note card series. And then the question is it our duty to warn the nations? Okay. First off, I want to start off by reading this quote down here by Albert Einstein. It says, by academic freedom, I understand the right to search for truth and to publish and teach what one holds to be true. It says this right also implies a duty. One must not conceal any part of what has recognized to be true, and it is our duty. It's an order that was bestowed upon the apostles, but also to the men who sigh and cry, and to get this word out and to feed my sheep, as Yahweh Shai has stated. So again, let's go ahead and start off Jeremiah 50:2. I'm going to read the NLT. You guys follow along on the KJV. This is what the Lord says. Tell the whole world and keep nothing back. Raise a signal flag to tell everyone that Babylon will fall. Her images and idols will be shattered. Her gods, Bel and Marduk, will be utterly disgraced. Okay, so we're supposed to, not just tell Israel, but also tell the nations, what they're going to be doing and, what their role is. Okay. It's not like everyone's going to be destroyed. That's not what we believe. You're going to have, a group of people who will, be set here upon this earth to build the nation, the kingdom of heaven. Okay. So let's go to Psalms 147. (19 and 20). And it reads, He showeth his words unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Salaki. So he's dealing with Israel. He's not dealing with the other nations. Okay. Point blank period. It's not about supersessionism. And these Christian churches and the Catholic Church, Catholicism has done with man-made religion. Okay. Because Yasharallah, he Prince Power Israel as a people before it's a place. Okay. And this is a book about us. Okay. And just real quick, this one thing I forgot, back in Jeremiah 50:2, let's go back to that. Whereas the word Jeremiah is Strong's 34:14, and it's Yerumya. And it says, whom Yahweh, not Jehovah, because the V's do not exist, J's don't exist. Those are added on later on. But it says was appointed. Yahweh, whom Yahweh has appointed. Okay, so he appointed Jeremiah, Jeremiah, to speak, unto his people. But then he also appointed his people over everybody else as a chosen people. And what's wrong with that? And if you have a problem with that, then hey, that's on you. But he has a chosen lineage, a chosen race of people. Okay, and if that's the case, then yeah, he's racist. Okay. So anyway, let's go to Ezekiel. Nope. Go back. Slacking. 35:2-8. This is prophesy against Mount Seir. You see the title right there. It says, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against her. All right. And this is what we do every week, week in, week out. Bad weather, good weather is in season, out of season, as the scripture says. Okay, be in season and out of season. And verse 3, it says, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. So this is what's going to happen to Mount Seir. Okay. Let's see, going to verse 8, verse 4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be destroyed, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, going back to Jacob and Esau, and hast shed the blood of children of Israel by the force of the sword, because that is their blessing. Okay, I think that was in Genesis 36, 37. In the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity, had an end. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, okay, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Right? That's going back to Revelations 13. I think it's 13:10. It says, matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull it real quick. So this is Revelations 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. I love that scripture. It's a banger. All right, so going back to Ezekiel 35:5. Therefore, as I live, verse 6, saith the Lord, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So verse 7 says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passes out of him that returneth. Verse 8, and I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in the valleys and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. Okay. So, this is Mount Seir. This is Esau, Edom. The ones who will be in rulership in the end of days. Okay, pursuant to the book of Obadiah. And for the most part, this is not the so-called Negroes, Hispanic, Native Americans, because we don't have our own militaries that are this powerful. This is the so-called the YT man. Okay. Let's go to Isaiah 14, 1-3. It's titled Israel's Taunt. For the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, will have mercy upon Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Okay. Essentially they're going to have to come up to the house of Jacob. Let's go ahead and continue reading. And the people shall take them and bring them into their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai for servants and handmaids, and they shall make them captives. Oh, that sounds like slavery, but it's going to be done in righteousness, in order. Okay. Because it's going to be used to build up the kingdom of heaven on earth as it is in heaven, as said in the Lord's Prayer. Okay? And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, because we were their captives for not just hundreds of years, thousands of years. We helped build majority of the world. And they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Okay. I'll go to Psalms 2 and 8 to kind of back this up. And it's called Reign of the Lord's Anointed. It says, ask me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. I mean, that's plain. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Zechariah 14. 1 through 3. This is titled "The Lord." What is this, yeah, so it's titled "God will battle Jerusalem's foes." Okay, so Zechariah 14. Let's go to verse 17. It says, "And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain." So basically, they're going to have to follow, these nations are going to have to follow in the law, statutes, and commandments. You're going to have to come up to Mount Zion, right, to observe the high holy days, observe the law, statutes, and commandments. If they don't, the Lord's going to hold back the rains. Like, I'm not talking about rains like a horse rains. No, I'm talking about, the dew from the heavens, okay, water, right, on their lands. And that's going to be terrible, okay, because after that, if you don't get anything growing, you got famine, you got plagues. In verse 18 says, "And if the families of Egypt go not up and come not, that they have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashai will smite the heathen, and come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles." Verse 19, "This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all the nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles." And this is what we tell the nations, okay? That's why this is a note card that I made. It said, "Is it our duty to warn nations?" And just before I keep going, I got this inspiration from following the GMS Elders in Transit. Those are the apostles, the Gabar, Tahar, going out in the highways and byways, because they still go out on the highways and byways. They don't just chill at home and stay easy. No, you have to have the fear of the Lord, okay, to do this work. And with that fear, with the proper fear, comes proper understanding, and then you see that the Lord will start moving for you, right? Truly, okay. Let's go down to verse 21. I'll read the, let's see. It says, "Yea, every pot of Jerusalem and Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts, and all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them, and seeth therein. And in that day there shall be no more Canaanite in the house of the Lord of hosts." And it's funny because what's going on in the land of Canaan right now. This is the prophecy of Luke 21:24 taking place. Oh, come on, man. There it goes. "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captives into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles." So this is speaking of the heathen nations who are fighting up against each other. They got small hats. You got those in Gaza, or Gaza, or however you say it, fighting right now. But then the Israel will be placed into that land. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back to let's go to Ezekiel 44:9. It's like, originally they have this many precepts. It's just, just kind of going through the spirit while I'm here at work, and I was kind of filling things out and saw some other things had lined up with Jeremiah 50:2, and just kind of understanding things that we do speak on to the other nations while we're out and about on the highways and byways. So this is Ezekiel 44:9. I'm going to read the NLT. It says, "So this is what the sovereign Lord says. No foreigners, including those who live among the people of Israel, will enter my sanctuary if they have not been circumcised and have not surrendered themselves to the Lord." All right. So let's go to 1 Samuel 15. And really, going back to that circumcision, that's also, spiritually, not just physically, okay? So this 1 Samuel 15, this is it's about the recount of Saul's disobedience, excuse me. And then basically, he was not being obedient in getting rid of King Agag, the king of the Amalek, and for their treachery in attacking Israel in the wilderness. That was pursuant to Exodus 17. But let's read verse 8. It says, "And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But he was supposed to destroy all of Amalek, and he didn't. And now, hey, we're suffering because of the consequences for that. Okay, now they're in the land. This going back to that Luke 21:24 is they're the Gentiles in the land. Now they are Shemite, but they're not chosen. Okay." Even though it's funny, they call themselves, Ashkenaz, which is really part of, Japhet lineage, which I want to talk about that another time. It's too much. So let's go to verse 22. And this is what Samuel talks to Saul. It says that Samuel, he was a high priest, said, "Have the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obeying the voice of the Lord, the Yahweh Shem Shai." He says, "Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams." And yeah, Lord willing, and we're gonna be obeying because we didn't obey, and so we're going through all these these pains right now. Let's see. But, like I said, in that time, though, we're going to have that second covenant to be written to our hearts, okay? And we're not going to be going off like that. Let's go to Obadiah 1 and 10. This is the reasons for Edom's punishment. "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." Okay, and that's what happened in the wilderness, pursuant to Exodus 17. And and they're not gonna be in the kingdom. No. All right. Let's see. And let's go to. I'm going to have to change my Bible app real quick. Salaki. Let me call that brother back. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 54. It says, "And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people whom thou hast chosen." All right. And so basically that's just showing that, we all came from them, and someone would read that and be like, "Oh, yeah, we all came from Adam." Yeah, that's true. No, it says him, a people who thou hast chosen. Okay. Verse 55. "All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made the world for our sakes." All right, not for everybody's sakes. "And as for the other people, which also come of Adam," here's everybody, yay. "No, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle." All right, that's spit. "And hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop of that falleth from a vessel." That's nothing. Okay. "And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us." Because we're in the land of our captivity, as pursuant to Baruch. I think I want to say it's 2 and 30. But verse 58. But we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. And if the world not be made for our sakes, why do we not possess the inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? And right now, you're seeing these curses being turned back onto these people, okay? And they're being confounded. Their skirts are being lifted up, okay? Let's see. And again, that's speaking of of Israel. So you could go to Exodus 4:22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, this saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. There you go. Okay. Now we're going to finish off in Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go to 3 first, and then read 1 through 8. It says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hands of God, and there shall be no torment, no torment touch them. And the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken from misery. And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. Verse 4, for that, though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. All right, and that's going to be these new bodies. Okay. Verse 5, and having been a little chastened, all right, they shall be greatly rewarded, for God proved them and found them worthy for himself. All right, and that's Israel, Yashar Allah. And as gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. And verse 7, and in the time of their visitation they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Okay. Verse 8, and they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people. All right. And their Lord shall reign forever. All right. So, yeah, that we're going to have dominion, just like we spoke of earlier. So go to Exodus 15:25. And it reads, and he cried unto the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, and the Lord Yahweh Shemashai showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. This is speaking of Israel, okay? Israel receiving the law, statutes, and commandments. And then a precept for, let's see, going back to Wisdom of Solomon 3:7, I believe it was, where it says, and in that time of the visitation there shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, verses 5, and read 1 through 3. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such that has afflicted him and made no account of his labors. Okay. And that's speaking of Esau, Edom, made no account for Israel's labors. And when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. So basically, they're saying, man, this is them, the ones that we used to always mess up and call spics and niggers and all that shit. Really, they're the ones who are chosen, and they're gonna be repenting and groaning. All right, they knew they messed up. Yeah, so you see, this is my notes that I have for that. It says, Esau was perplexed in seeing the so-called, blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, and those of the speckled birds, whom they had as a byword, a proverb and byword, being beamed up. Okay, where it says, "Come out of her, my people." All right, man. Yeah, I'll go ahead and read this, man. This is beautiful right here. This is 1 Corinthians 15:51-54. It says, Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, and at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For the corruptible must put on the incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Verse 54. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Now this is the gospel. This is the good news. Okay, the real good news. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Just peace, love, and much respect to the men of Great Millstone. Pray that this was edifying for you, Akim Akwath. Abba Kwam Yasha Allah, Shalom.